Welcome back to both Aunt Vivs and our instant reaction live stream. Please welcome our panel of experts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to both Aunt Vivs live stream. I'm your host, Imani Bremer, and we just finished watching episode 5 of season 6, and baby, we got tea, we got thoughts, we got concerns. Here today, we have Blaze on the panel, we have Tanae, and we have Brad. So, guys, shall we jump into it?
Right,
Yeah.
totally.
All right, so instant reactions. Give it to me. I'm going to start with Brad.
The show always ends on a high. My first reaction, honestly, is there's so much going on. And because I'm watching with you guys, it's my first time watching with commercials. I had a hard time keeping track of who was in trouble. There's so much happening. But I just don't. My instant reaction at the end of this, honestly, is that there's no way out for Franklin. He's created a stopgap in which he's going to have to suffer a consequence, whether that's with his life, that's with his mom's life, it's with his freedom, or both.
Oh, yeah, that's the drug game, baby. He knew what he was getting himself into.
Did he?
I mean, it's the drug game. Yeah, it was the start of the drug game.
You know, the thing that really, I don't know, and you guys can all tell me what you think. The thing that really just hit me was, when did he get so extreme? He has just gone to, like, he's past level 10. He's like on a 15. It's that he knows how to be like this. He's not even figuring it out. He's just evil.
I mean, someone robbed $70 million from you. That might tip a little extra switch. $70 million.
Marbles might unscrew a little bit. It might get a little loose up there.
Yeah.
But you remember, even Jerome stated, or he was surprised, like Franklin shot him out. It was kind of like he did that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's gradually gotten worse. He has gradually gotten worse. The game has messed with him. Something terrible.
Yeah, I mean, we can't expect a game like that to keep a person the same. It's inevitable. That's the arc of the character. That's what makes TV TV. Okay, so how do we feel now that Leon is in charge?
We talked about this last week, and I was really sad. Like, I was wanting him to be like, nah, you could take the game, Rennie. Like, my heart really hurt at the fact that he was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get back in it, because it's not gonna get any better. Like,
Yeah.
Dion's gonna come for him. And as they kind of said, like, as Jerome said, and even they said to him in the room, it's a whole bunch of young dudes out here who's looking, and they hungry, and they're not the same. They're not built the same. They don't have loyalty. They don't have any of these things. So it's gonna go left.
Blaze?
Yeah, I think we definitely not only talked about it, kind of called it. Like, he was on the sidelines looking like, put me back in, coach. Even though he wanted to change the culture, he had like a little gleam in his eye, like, yo, I missed this game. You know, I'm sitting right on the sideline watching this person that I put on run it terribly, run it into the ground with no type of rules and no type of ethics. So, he was probably waiting for the moment and using the street light from last week was perfect to jump in and be like, all right, I'm making my move. And but he also recognizes, I think too, like Franklin once again is like, maybe, I can be half in, half out. He's like, nah, it's like, all right, I done did the deed. I gotta go put it down, make sure everybody know for real that I'm still him, and I can still run these projects.
Right.
Okay. Are we supposed to feel good about that? Can I ask you guys, are we supposed to feel good about that? Like, part of me wanted the redemption arc for Leon, right? He killed a kid. He had learned a little bit from Avi. He goes to Africa, and he's supposed to better himself. And he wanted to better himself, and that's why he came back in the first place. So to completely change his motive, I guess, for the good of the hood, is that what we're going with? Because the hood needs a a dominant leader, he's going to be that guy because better him than someone else? Is that what we're supposed to think?
Yeah, but so I think the mother keeps dropping these gems that are like pivotal to the whole episode, because the mother says, she says it in regards to Franklin, that he's a garage sale jigsaw puzzle that's always missing some pieces. But I feel like that's all the men that's like represented in the episode. They're all missing these pieces that would make them whole and make them right. So like the fact that Avi's gone, Leon doesn't really have this like North Star that's going to help him and ground him. So him coming back, he got to go back to what he knows, because he doesn't have the piece that's going to push him forward.
I feel like Leon was always his own leader. What were you going to say, Brad?
No, that was it. I was curious how we felt about that in general. The fact that he's fallen backwards after, I want a redemption story with this show at the end of the day. Everyone is just so deep in it. Is Wanda going to be that redemption story? It's slow for her if it is, So I thought Leon was going to be our redemption story, and I feel like that was just taken away from us.
Yeah, that brings me into the next question perfectly. How do you think this affects Wanda?
Oh, you can see it written on her face every step. She was just like, damn. Like, I told him not to come back.
Yeah.
Told him not to live in the hood. I told him not to get involved. And he just sliding the whole time. So you talk about redemption story. We hope there's not like a physical relapse in terms of drug use. And maybe she still finds a way. That will be our one star, to be like, all right, I can beat this habit and still break away. But we all know she loves her some Leon. So leaving his side, I wouldn't bet on it. But I think the overarching was like, we said this from episode 1. There's no heroes here, Unfortunately, right. It's a cast of, we root for some people because that's how shows work, but
yeah,
all villains here.
I was just going to say to Brad, when it comes to the world of drugs, there is limited redemption stories. We kind of low on the stock of redemption stories. We will get lucky if somebody comes out on the bright side, Yeah,
it's always the drug user that is the lone redemption story in a show like this.
Right.
The authorities and the players in the game are always the casualties and the bad guys, right? No matter how cool they're written.
Yeah. We have a viewer in here, the real Jim said everyone's in trouble. Absolutely. Everyone's in it, right?
Yeah. It's not looking good for anybody. Not Gustavo, not the KGB dude. Everybody's getting exposed. Everybody's getting found out. It's going left.
Yeah,
I don't know about y'all, but I was my heart was pounding for Jerome, but they was doing a lot of foreshadowing. He's talking about I'm out. He's throwing away out from what? Going out or out from everything, out from life. Like, he was cruising for a bruising too. Like he was ready to, at the car garage, like he was ready to go to war, or it was like he didn't care. So I'm glad we got at least one more episode because in terms of performances, I don't think anyone's has taken a consistently better performances than Jerome. Like from season 1 on, like his performances are always top notch. So
yeah.
When do you think it changed for him, right? I feel like when the show started, it was all about Damson and how incredible this young British actor was at living this, portraying this LA young kid. And then I don't know if it was the police brutality scene when Jerome gets beat up, when the cops busted in the house and they take him. If that's when it changed, when he started to show depth and emotion. But every journey that he's been on, man, has been the best one of the season, bar none.
Yeah.
I actually feel like with every season, there was a gradual shift. I don't think there was one particular moment, or I didn't feel like there was one particular moment where a switch went off and now he's just evil and he has a dark side. The game took over this man's entire energetic being. Just a gradual downward slope, you know? But
And he
And
didn't find himself grounded. He didn't take what he needed to ground himself. And I feel like him going left, the way he's going left, is a result of Louie and Franklin. It's like he's being pulled in two different ways that are not anywhere who he is. And it's really interesting that even when he's at the when he's getting the car fixed, he makes mention of his music store. Like, it's, so it's really interesting. Like, this is not who he is, and he knows it's not who he is or who he wanted to be.
which,
yeah,
I was thinking the entire this entire episode. Do you remember this episode where he was going tracking down Peaches, and he was finding out like about the outcome of like all these different veterans who couldn't hang? It really does feel like he's never, outside of that one little moment where he had that speaker shop, he's never felt comfortable.
yeah, that speaker shop was his pride and joy. I did want us to go back to Wanda for a second, because Wanda and Sissy have been bonding. And I want to know, how do we feel about that? Tanae! Tanae, what's going on?
Like, I feel it's really interesting. Like, even that conversation where Wanda's saying to her, like, oh, you seem like you have it all together. And she's like, girl, I'm struggling. You seem like you're the one that has it all together. So it's really interesting how they're playing on each other and how they're weirdly grounded in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I feel like Wanda's gonna lean on Sissy a little bit to figure out how to navigate staying grounded with Leon. And that shelter is, if anything, that shelter is going to be the redemptive story for Wanda. It's going to keep her. It's going to keep her.
I was just going to say, Brad, I feel like Wanda has been on an upward slope while everyone is on a downward trajectory.
Well, right, yeah, the drug users always get the redemption story in crime shows, right? So she's the one that gets chosen to have. We hope to have a redemption story. I think she's definitely a surrogate for Sissy, for Franklin to Sissy to maybe advise properly this time. Where and they even make mention of it. Franklin, when he's talking to her, talking to Sissy about about not being able to stop him from doing this, and the money that she's benefited from and all these things. But at the end of the day, much like Sissy, Wanda's in a real dangerous position. We don't know, is she going to fall back into drugs? Is she going to get caught up just in the crossfire of what's going on right now and in the projects? Is someone, she's just known out here in general. We saw the last episode how everyone was mocking her right to her face.
Yeah.
Anyone could take a chance with her. You just don't know. I just wish she was out. And my only gripe with this show is these time jumps sometimes take me a little bit out of the emotion. And I feel like we missed the emotion needed for the bond between Wanda and her husband, and just like, because they are married, right? So we need Leon and her to understand why she can't just leave.
Yeah.
Why can't she just get out of there? Why
'Cause they don't
can't he
got
just?
no money.
Why
Let's
doesn't he?
keep it a buck. They ain't got the money. Like, he
He
may
just
have
got
the
those
money, but
lights.
she don't got the money. And she can't get a job. Like, the reality is there's a whole section of her life missing because of her crack use.
Could they
What
not
about
go back?
Could they not go back to Africa? Not on her money.
Yeah.
She don't got no money.
How much did those lights cost that Leon bought?
Well, if you remember, he's like, well, I got to go back because I got to get my money. There's no way to get my money over here. So we got to think that Leon has some money if they wanted to. But we also got to remember, like, Leon literally saved her life. Like, this was on some straight up, like, I'm chaining you to a bed to break you off of this habit. So that bond that she has with him, in terms of he saved my life, maybe she sees like I can't leave because I got to save his life as well. So I don't see the runoff happening.
Yeah, there's a loyalty there. And let's decode Wanda's quote. Remember when she said, some people need to be taught on how to accept help? How do you feel about that?
It was real because I think we also got to keep into context their age. They not in their early 20s. They
Right.
know nothing. Nobody has went to college. You see, what you call them is learning from Avi. Like their level of exposure is extremely limited, um, in what they know and where they're looking for support. So I think there is that piece to it that it's also keeping into real context that they're young, they're not exposed, they don't got Google, ain't nobody Googling nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so their level of reach out and exposure is limited.
Yeah.
I
Now,
think
that's a
even
good
anyway
point.
when you. Oh, God, please.
I was gonna say real quick, that was a good point because even when you saw that when they were in the shelter and she seen the mom going at the kid, there wasn't really no conflict resolution. She was just yelling back at the mom like, "Yo, you can't do this," and he was like, it wasn't really no like elevated, like, you know what I mean? Let me talk this out to you. She was really just going back to, what she knew as someone young. Right.
Which is very familiar. That don't seem too far off from what we experience within our own families and trauma, but that's a different topic, right? Okay, so does Louie want Franklin dead or just out of the way?
Dead.
Shit.
Dead. You can see it in her eyes. Like I said, she hasn't stopped wearing black. Once again, she's Cersei from Game of Thrones. Like she hasn't stopped wearing black since like end of last season.
Blaze
All
is
she
not
sees,
gonna let the wardrobe
I
go.
can't
Blaze.
let it go. Like it's so foreboding. Like she is just nothing but strategy to keep making money and to get Franklin out of there. Like she was like, damn. And you saw it in Jerome's face. Jerome was probably happy a little bit that Franklin made it out. She was just like, dang, that could have been it. So yeah, she wants him dead, no question.
Yeah, she wants him dead. And I also think when you think about that, even that scene, like she creeps up on him on his shoulder after Dion leaves. Like it's really like, sis, come on. Like, and all of this is your fault.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to not forget that everything that's going on is her fault.
I think the shift in her character is so disheartening. She is Franklin's aunt. She started off so loyal. I would have never guessed that this would be her shift. Like, can I curse? Because I just want to say, what a. She, she a.
That money. She been about money since day one. I mean, look, not trying to, make no judgments, but we know where Jerome found her originally.
Yeah.
She got that money. I think that's another thing with everybody or everything that with this shit. Like that money gets into your ethos, the amount of money they playing with, and it corrupts everything.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, Tanae.
I was just gonna say in that part, like the reality is you're watching how like she just was about money. Her and Jerome's like beginning, how they show it in the beginning of the series is weird. And she just wanted to be a kingpin. Like she just wants to be a kingpin. She didn't care about an end game. Like he's even trying to sell her on an end game. Like Franklin attempted to try to sell her on an end game. She doesn't want it. She just wants to be this queen pin. She don't care about nothing else.
Which is sad because let's not forget she's gotten herself into some sticky situations and Franklin was there to save her ass. And now look at her, just backstabbing. This is why I can't trust people. Okay, so what do we think is the best case scenario for Sissy?
She gonna
I'll
be a
let Louie
prison.
answer first.
Okay, today.
She gonna be a prison mother. She gonna be seeing her child up at the prison.
Oh,
I
damn.
keep saying Franklin is old boy from Harlem. I forget his name. The one Denzel played. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but that's who Franklin is gonna end up being, and she's gonna be seeing her son in the prison. That's it. It's over.
And Blaze, what did you want to follow up with?
Um, it's tough. Like I think it would be a little extra to see the character of Sissy get killed off. So, but she is playing with the KGB. Do they leave loose ends? Is Teddy gonna leave loose ends? Franklin just went after his parents. He already took out one of his. He took out his father, and he knows the soft spot that is his mother. But even better yet, today, I know you were talking about Frank Lucas. If we look at the real Freeway Ricky Ross, he did end up going to jail for a long, long time. So that could definitely be another way. Best case is definitely Franklin's in jail, and Sissy is able to run the homeless shelter in perpetuity. But that's definitely a happy end, and I don't know what's coming.
This is why Sissy never wanted her son in this in the first place. Remember, she didn't even want to take the money. She didn't want to take no crack money, no drug money. She didn't want any part of this.
Yeah, do you remember when Franklin's talking to her about the life that they had before they got into the game and what the money's provided them and how she would have died on the stairs being the building manager for that slumlord, and she said, "How's this life any better?" I think she's given up. I think best case scenario is she gets to see her grandkid. That's best case scenario. I think she's given up on her self-preservation. I think she's given up on Franklin listening to her as far as advice. I think she's also given up on keeping him safe. I think best case scenario is that she gets to spend time with her to be born grandchild.
If her to be born grandchild don't end up in St. Lucia.
Right.
I never trusted her.
Damn. I don't like that for Sissy, but Brad, that sounds so realistic. Between prison mom and she just gave up a long time ago is looking a little bit like that.
Yeah, that broke her, right? When he got killed. When I can't remember his name, when he was killed, that broke her. That she got back something I don't think she ever thought she was going to get back, and him being sober, starting up that home there. I just think she was in bliss, and that was taken from her. And at that age, for her, she's done.
Yeah. I would have been done too. What else is there? Okay. So, do we think the plan was always to kill Teddy's dad, or did Franklin just change the plan last minute on the fly?
He changed the plan last minute on the fly. Because it was too on a whim. You really thought that you were going to get Teddy to give you that information, which we all knew Teddy was not going to give it up. And it seemed like Teddy was going to give it up, but then he was just like, I can't do it that quick. So it's more to that. It's a little bit deeper.
You don't trust it, Tanae?
I don't trust no, I don't trust Teddy. And I'm a little scared because Franklin really handed him all the cards. He laid his cards out there and was just like, yo, I know where your kids are. I know what your real name is. We coming for you. Guns blazing. He's still a part of the CIA, sir. Are you stupid or are you dumb?
Both of them.
I tell you though, Teddy's been this gelatinous zombie this whole season though, just going through, I'm trying to get back into good graces and win this war thing. And that was the first time this whole season he showed some type of oh my God, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It did something. It shook him. It's going to definitely create there's going to be a response to this action, and it's going to be serious and probably set off the rest of the this is the events that's going to lead to the end of the episode series is going to all branch off of this for sure.
So we have some comments in the comment section. Someone said Louie and Manboy are the same person. What?
Manboy.
Brendan Dowdy says Sissy dead. That's her best case scenario. She about to die. Also, KGB agent gonna get killed. Being gay is basically a death sentence for KGB agents. Okay.
Yeah,
That
I think that also plays a part in Sissy's hand, right? Her big play is bringing this guy into the fold, which really puts the entire CIA operation like on their back foot. But if this guy gets outed, if Teddy outs this guy and he's not a threat anymore, Sissy has zero play. The only benefit right now is that the angle is taking this weird turn in which Teddy has no idea where the KGB came from.
Yeah.
And the KJB dude knows that somebody was in his apartment. So, they're gonna catch each other.
okay. Let's segue into Gustavo. That was a good. What is the best case scenario for Gustavo?
Franklin
figure out
wins the war and bails him out.
Or he figure out where them drugs are and let the DEA know. Because the KJB is not looking out for him. And I mean, nobody is. He's out here on a land by himself. But
If he can end up in Witsec, somewhere out getting spaghetti noodles, ketchup, that's what man from Goodfellas said. I don't know. I don't know if that's, once again, is something that can really happen because it seems too much of a good ending. But Witsec, witness protection is definitely probably his best case scenario.
Brandon Dowdy says Gustavo's best case scenario is prison. He said, remember, Gustavo's nemesis from season 2, that dude's still out there looking for him. I do remember Gustavo's nemesis. Yeah, I remember the nemesis. Gustavo used to get his ass beat.
But Gustavo is now worked with CIA and DEA. He goes to jail. He probably, in theory, you would think he doesn't live a week, especially with his nemesis. As much power they got outside, they gonna have inside as well. So jail wouldn't be a good route for that guy.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Franklin's the only one that's ever had his back the entire show. Every time they've crossed, Franklin has always had his back, and he made him a promise.
Oh, so
he sticks with it. Yeah, you stick with him. He's gonna reward him. That's his play.
Yeah.
I would watch that, a little spinoff, Oso and Franklin Take It on the Road, I would watch that spinoff.
Trying out expensive wines.
Right.
Okay, so for our last question of the night, drum roll, please. Who do we think wins in the end? Teddy or Franklin?
Well, I get the first. What do you define as win? I think that's probably to properly answer that question. What do we picture as winning? Franklin ain't getting that money back. Franklin ain't getting that money back. I'll put it like that. That $70 million is gone. Like, he's not getting it back.
Okay. That don't sound like he won. I mean, if you lose the money.
I don't know if he's going to get the money back, but I definitely feel like Teddy's going to get exposed. Like, for real exposed. Like, I feel like Teddy's going to get exposed. His kid might die. The way Franklin is on the loose, everybody might die connected to Teddy.
Yeah. I think we can categorize win as you're walking away with your freedom, you're walking away with enough money to live off of, and you're just leaving that old life behind you.
That's nobody. Everybody's going to jail.
Yeah, you got to hold out for Wanda on that one.
Yeah, I'm with Brad on that.
Damn.
Leave that for Wanda.
Maybe what's that kid's name? Einstein? Maybe he can do it.
Okay.
That kid.
And I hope Einstein don't die.
Yeah.
He had the college application in his hand. Just go to the mailbox.
Going out.
Okay, well, before we come to a close, are there any final thoughts? Anything you would like to share? Any predictions?
How many episodes we got?
What'd you say today?
Jerome is gonna die.
Ooh, Uncle Jerome, that's my homie.
Because
All right.
he's gonna die. It's nothing. This episode kind of just solidified. There's no hope for him. Everything is falling apart.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to a close. Thank you so much for tuning in for Aunt Viv's live stream Snowfall recap. This is our second time here. We appreciate your presence. All of your comments that added some pizzazz to it. Y'all still going on. Y'all said, who did Kane get in the trailer? Was it Jerome or was his wife? Listen, we're going to come back next week. We're going to talk about episode 6 of season 6. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm your host, Imani Bremer, and have a wonderful night. And do not do drugs. Peace out.